So what would you say are the biggest positives about life in Vancouver, especially for people who are not maybe originally from this city?
It's peaceful. It's safe. Like, we have never had any unpleasant experience. Public transit is good. The city is beautiful because it's city in nature. And it is a metro city with a soul of a small town.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So, like, it has everything, but it feels like a smaller town.
I feel like the biggest thing that works for us is it's more laid back. North America in general is like very uptight in the sense, like, rules you follow, like you live a certain way. And that was our kind of a concern in the back of our heads. We are more laid back, hippie-ish people. So this aligns with that a lot. People are more laid back. People are more, they are more aligned with nature. So nature is so accessible.
Yeah, Vancouver is not just work. Vancouver is like, people believe in work-life balance. I think a majority of people.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, so I'm here today with Yash and Alsaba. So great to see you both. Now tell me about your journey, because we were talking before the cameras were rolling, and you've had a really incredible journey, both of you, right? You've traveled to so many countries. I think you've lived in 5 or 6 different countries before coming here to Canada. So tell me a bit about your journey.
Thank you, Adam, for having us.
Yeah.
This is great. Just talking to you about expat life and everything was a lot of fun. Yes, you want to go start?
So we started our professional lives in Mumbai. So we are from a very small town I am from a small town in India. We met during engineering in 2002. We studied together. Then we did MBA, worked in Mumbai for 7-8 years. And we had a great life going on in Mumbai. We had amazing set of friends, good work. Everything was perfect, but we wanted to travel a bit more. We did a bit of travel from Mumbai within India, but we wanted to have longer travels. That's when Alsaba said that maybe we should look at, moving abroad and, slow traveling in countries while we live and work there. And that's how it started. And do you want to talk about our first break?
Yeah, so we had just gotten married and I was actively looking for opportunities abroad. And we found this job posting in Tanzania. And literally, what I did was went to the map and looked for the country, and I saw like a long shoreline. I'm like, ooh, the coastline. Like, they have great beaches. We are going. Because we both love beaches. This is literally all the research we did. And we said yes to the job. We like went through all the things. I'm sorry. And it was probably the best decision we've made in our life.
Yeah.
Because that has given us a lot of perspective. That has completely changed the course of our life. And we feel like we are better human beings because we decided to just leave our country and see the world.
Yeah. And, I wasn't convinced for Tanzania, because when I dreamt of living abroad, I was thinking more of Europe or, maybe Southeast Asia. So I was like, in fact, when we reached Tanzania airport, I was like, let's just go back to Mumbai. And, I liked my life in Mumbai, and let's see more options. But within a week that we spent in Tanzania, I fell in love with the country, with the people, and it's so beautiful. And I was like, yeah, this is the right decision that we made. Yeah.
So you went from Tanzania and then you went to, was it Sri Lanka and then Dubai? What was the kind of moving like from that point onwards?
From Tanzania, we finished our contract. We came back to India, and then we decided to try looking for a job in Dubai. So we did spend a few months there making connections, like just seeing how the lifestyle is. And we liked it, but things did not really work out for us. So we came back and we got a break. We got an opportunity to work in Sudan.
Very interesting place,
exactly.
I'm sure.
Like, again, Sudan, when you hear of it, like it's always quoted as something like super poor. Like you always hear it in a very negative connotation. And everyone, even our family, was kind of like, do you really want to go? But we had seen Africa, and we knew that whatever is the general consensus or the outlook, it has so much more to offer, and we wanted to go experience that. And again, it was tough, but I think it was definitely a very, very enriching experience for both of us.
I'm sure. Well, it's interesting because on one of the last podcasts, I spoke to a guy who was living in Kurdistan in Iraq, and he was actually there during like the troubles with ISIS. And then I asked him, well, what was it like? But it was funny because he said, well, in the capital city, he was in a bubble. And I would imagine if you're living in a place like, say, a Sudan, you wouldn't go to the areas that, of course, are the most dangerous. You're probably going to be placed, at least as an expat, in an area which is relatively okay, I imagine. What was that like? Was it like the capital city of Sudan, or?
So we were in Khartoum, which is the capital city, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's also the meeting point of two Niles. So Niles, there is a blue Nile and a white Nile. They merge in Khartoum, and that's when it becomes Niles and goes to Egypt.
Okay.
So Khartoum is not the capital, but it is the commercial capital.
Is it?
Commercial
Mumbai,
capital, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the conglomerate that we were hired for, they were based, and it is the most prosperous city, but it was also the hub of where the civil coup break out eventually.
Yes.
So we joined in October, and the coup happened in December. And we saw firsthand how the people came together on the. They used to have official half days off to go to the protest. Like every company was.
People in your company.
Yes.
had half
Every
days.
company was doing that.
Right.
And companies was supplying like water, food.
Like I was in
whatever
a
we were
CPG company,
producing
so we used to send water and juices for people who are protesting.
at the protest.
Yeah. Because see, without going into much details, they had a president for past 30 years. And the country was paused for 30 years. There was absolutely no development in terms of infrastructure or businesses or things like that. So people realized it pretty late, but they realized. And that's when the protests started. Now, the protests were peaceful. There was a coup that happened that president said that, okay, I'm stepping down, but it was all staged. So actually, the president did not step down. He just put someone in charge. So things like that. And
We were in a bubble unless it became really big. And we had to stay indoors for like a week.
Yes.
For expats, for us, we were in a very safe area. We would watch from our from the terrace. We would watch the smoke, and we could hear the gunfire. But usually they were not firing at people. Until then, they were just firing in the air.
And when was this? What year again was this?
2019 or 18?
It was 2018, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because like when expats go to like countries that are considered dangerous or actually are dangerous, usually it's in a bit of a bubble because it has to be like that. So for example, people in oil and gas are often sent to places which are pretty dangerous. Not always, but they can be, right? But in that situation, sometimes the company will get them a car with private security. Now, Sudan, though, at that time, I don't know if it was that dangerous, but I imagine when your family heard about you being in Sudan, they heard about the troubles, they must have been pretty worried, right? Until you told them, well, actually, we're in a place which isn't too bad. But I imagine from their point of view, they must have been pretty worried about that.
All our friends were calling us constantly. We would get DMs and like messages from friends, like even friends who were not in touch with us. They would mail like, oh, I heard you're in Sudan and we're watching the news and it's scary. And we were like, the thing is, the first thought that comes to you is, yes, we watch the news and this is what you know of the world. But when you're living in it, it's so different. It is not that bad.
Yeah.
Not at least for like most of the people. Because even the locals, our team members would go for these protests. And they were regular, middle class. There's no middle class there though.
Yeah.
But it's regular people. Yeah.
But see, the thing that we notice in Sudan that people don't have anything, but they're still so nice, genuine. They want to. Hospitality is amazing.
They're known for their hospitality.
Like if you go out to eat with them, they'll not let you pay. Like things like people are genuinely very nice, very helpful. very loving people.
Hmm.
So in a way, when the protests were also very peaceful, very well organized, there was no violence of any sort. The maximum would have been they would burn a tire on the street. That's it. Nothing, no more than that. But then government put up military on the street. So while we are going to work, imagine there are like trucks on both sides and guns pointed towards you while you're going to work. But
we would go in a normal but office car. Like we had office cars that would take us there. So we felt safe, and we would convey the same thing to everyone. Like, don't worry. And we were constantly in touch with our consulate, the Indian consulate at that time. So
yeah, and the media can sometimes exaggerate certain things. Like I can remember one of my friends, he was in Thailand during one of the coups there, one of the military uprisings in, I think it was 2014 or something like that. And it was on the media, tanks are rolling through Bangkok and all this kind of thing. And he's looking out of his window. He's like, well, I don't see any tanks. I think it was like one on the outskirts of Bangkok or something like that. So the media can sensationalize as well, right? But from a parent's point of view, though, I do understand why obviously, parents or family or friends would be worried about certain countries. But as you say, usually you can still say, stay safe, right? It's a bit like when the Hong Kong protests were going on. I have a lot of friends in Hong Kong, but they were like, well, if you don't go to certain areas at certain times, it's one of the safest countries or cities in the world, should I say. So I guess it was a bit like that. Obviously not to the same extent of safety, but you felt relatively relaxed, it seems, which is fantastic.
Yes. And Alsaba's parents had visited Sudan. So before all this started, so they'd seen this country and the city. Okay. So they were like, it's pretty safe. But when the protests and all happened, obviously they were concerned, but we told them that we are safe and things like that. So,
I would say two parts. One is we have lived away from our home city within the country. So say Mumbai, we get crazy floods during rainy season, in monsoon. So they would watch all this news. Oh, Mumbai is flooding, everyone is down, and we are going to work. We would tell them, we'd show them on video, like, no, it's okay. They're just like, they're showing you one part of the city which is flooding.
That gets flooded every year, and that's where the crew goes and they shoot. It's flooded and it...
media, So they kind of understood. They were used to us doing things like this. So they were also kind of used to it. But also the trust that we could handle this. I think somewhere they had seen that.
Least,
his parents had visited, both our parents had visited us in Tanzania as well. So the whole fear of Africa, working in Africa, was completely gone. They had met the people, they had seen the country, they saw how peaceful and how good our life is. So I think in a way they were like, they understood that as an expat, we were living a better life and we were safe and taken care of.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because obviously this is a common issue, right, all around the world. The same in Western countries, I'm sure it's the same in Latin America. When people think about Africa, they automatically think certain things. And obviously it's a very big place, over 50 countries. And I guess it's the same in India, right? Amongst a lot of people, they automatically assume you're going to be in maybe an unsafe place, or it's going to be, dangerous to a certain extent. You're not going to have a good life. But obviously people who have lived there know you can have a great life, right? And a lot of people I know who have lived in different continents say that actually some of the countries in Africa are amongst their favorite. Because I think you were saying to me before we filmed that at least until you came to Canada, actually Tanzania was your favorite place.
Absolutely. The beaches are so beautiful. The
insane.
Food is delicious. Like, it's anything you buy is organic. Is fresh, is seasonal.
By definition.
Yes. And the moment you taste it, it kind of like, it brings back, oh, this is how a tomato tastes.
It was because like literally farm to table everything.
There's no like factory farming there yet,
no,
I guess.
Nothing. And people were very good. Whatever crimes, so like petty crimes like bag snatching or, things like that would be there in any city.
Things.
And
which happens everywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like you can hear those things even in Canada. We hear stuff like that. It's not that common. But if it's a one-off thing, it can happen anywhere. So we go with that mindset that it's okay.
And we met some really good people, some really good local people who took us to places where locals would hang out, and we never felt unsafe. Never, ever. Not even for a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, all these things have their positives and negatives as well. Because I was speaking to quite a few people
Mm-hmm.
who have lived in places like Singapore, Dubai,
Mm-hmm.
Jersey, Guernsey, these kind of places which are kind of, in general, ridiculously safe. And don't get me wrong, that is a good thing if a
Yeah.
place is so ridiculously safe. But let's say you're an expat parent, or even you're a local and you bring somebody up in those countries and then they go traveling abroad. Those parents must be more worried about, well, how street smart are my kids going to be, or whatever. So even when it comes to safety, right, it's kind of like sometimes I feel if a place is just ridiculously safe,
Hmm.
like if you then go and travel to, you know, most parts of the world, you then have to remember, well, actually, I'm not in those places anymore. So people forget that there's always a negative as well as a positive. So people talk about places like Singapore just being incredibly safe, and that's 100% a positive.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I think there's a small part of it which, you know, actually isn't, that good. Although mainly, of course, it's a great thing. So you went from Sudan then. You went to, was it Sri Lanka or
Yes.
Yeah.
Dubai? Yeah.
No,
So you went to Sri Lanka.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was mind-blowing because we visited Sri Lanka once for tourism. And as we were traveling from the airport to our hotel, Yash started calling friends saying, I need to work. I want to
Yes.
work here. Like,
Yeah.
and this was, say, 4-5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then one day I'm working, like I'm sitting in my office in Sudan, and I get this email from a consultant saying, we are looking for a COO for an
Digital agency, marketing agency.
And everything was so surreal. I just closed my email. I didn't tell him anything for 2 days. I'm like, it's probably a prank. Like it's too good of an offer.
Yeah.
But then I revisited. We got that job. So I'm the one who got that job offer. And Yash said, I will move with you. And I'll maybe freelance, or I'll look for a job there, or I'll just be a house husband. And he ended up being mostly
I
a house
loved it.
husband, and he was great at it.
Yeah.
Because Sri Lanka life is so good. My office to work commute was 5 minutes by tuk-tuk. I had an office tuk-tuk to pick me up.
Oh, brilliant.
Or I could walk it up. And the walk was next to a canal. It was so pleasant, very, very safe. Again, life was easy. We had help. We could hire maids.
Mhm.
Commute was so easy. We never had, like, we didn't buy a car or anything.
Yeah.
We could take public transit. We traveled by buses and trains, taxis as well. I feel like Sri Lanka is the first country in 40 years of our life where we actually started talking about, should we settle here? Should we buy
Yeah,
something?
This is the
So-
like it was very wholesome for me.
Yes.
Like you asked this question earlier before we started recording the podcast to Alsaba, and she said Tanzania is her favorite. I would say Sri Lanka is my favorite.
Okay. And that's because like the lifestyle was good.
I don't see any negative in Sri Lanka.
Hmm.
So like people were very nice. The people at least that we were with were amazing.
Absolutely,
It's a
yes.
beautiful country. Proximity to India, it's like 2-hour flight and you're home.
Our
And
cultures are similar in a way.
Cultures are similar,
Yeah.
food is similar,
Yeah.
and I love beaches. And Sri Lanka has amazing, amazing beaches. Yeah.
And nature is pretty untouched in a way.
Yeah.
Because they don't get that much tourism. Well, they get tourism, but like not to the same extent as like some countries. Like
Yes.
it must not be that crowded in the tourist areas, right? Relatively.
I feel like Sri Lankans have this great quality of living with nature.
Yes.
The way they have, like, every house has so many fruit trees. I feel like nobody can die of hunger in Sri Lanka. Because you have jackfruit, avocados, coconut. You go to anybody's house, you will get like, okay, coconut from the tree, something from my garden. You know, it's so.
We once stayed in a resort where if you ask for a coconut, they'll pluck it for you and they'll give it to you.
Yeah, right. Like,
really?
Like there's a bamboo
And
with a
king
thing on, so you
coconuts.
can like bring it down. Yeah. And like tiny coconuts, but full of sweet water, like very tasty.
Yeah, you can
I
have
From
miss
it.
that
people's
taste.
houses or something in their gardens or
Yeah,
something like
everywhere.
that.
Yeah, it's everywhere. They are everywhere. So we felt so grounded
Hmm.
because people always are connected with nature and they help you connect with nature. Okay, I'll give you an example. I was meeting another Indian girl at a far, like a remote beach in Sri Lanka through Instagram. Like we had connected on Instagram and like, oh, you're traveling, let's meet up. And we are both talking in English at the beach. And the shack where we are sitting, this guy, he brings our juice or something. And then he says, aren't you both from India? We said, yeah. So he said, why are you speaking in English? Why aren't you speaking in your language? But the thing is, she was from a different province and her main language is not Hindi. My main mother tongue is Hindi. But just that thing was such a big reminder because we are all trying to be very cosmopolitan. But actually, he reminded us of our roots in a way. And I loved that.
Well, it's interesting because like the countries are very close by and they have things in common, I'm sure. But as you say, there are certain things I'm sure that are quite different. But then going from Sri Lanka, did you go directly to Canada or via Dubai? Okay.
No, we came
So
directly.
that must have been quite a difference, right? Sri Lanka to Canada.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, you know, in Canada, right, I guess it's much harder to have like domestic help and things like that compared to a country like Sri Lanka. Climates, also people and culture and food even, everything, right, I guess is quite different.
Yeah.
How was the transition then from Sri Lanka to Canada? Was it difficult the first few months or not?
I want to say one thing. One thing that really helped us was COVID. Because during COVID, we had no help. So we had started cooking, cleaning, everything in Sri Lanka. And we moved during COVID. So it wasn't such a big shock for us. Kind of eased us into at least that one thing. So that one shift, we did not really feel.
Yeah.
The climate, the weather, of course. We moved in October, which is fall. So it's getting crisp. It's getting cold. And Sri Lanka, it's like still, it's always summer in a way. So that was a huge change, but we knew what we had signed up for. I feel mindset plays the biggest role when you want to travel or when you want to live abroad. If you are somebody who looks at the drawbacks or the things that are not available in a place, you will always struggle.
Yes, that's true.
If you can see the positives and you can latch on to them and you know, decide to grow, you will thrive. And for us, I think that has been the case because Canada is cold. That is a fact. We cannot fight it, right?
Even
Now,
Vancouver?
yeah, it's not that cold.
Yeah.
But for us, since we've always lived in warmer places, it is a bit cold, but we started enjoying the cold. So yeah, so we discovered snow sport, we discovered
We've
snowboarding.
started snowboarding in our late
And
30s.
hiking or snowshoeing, and we're like, snow and winters could be enjoyed, and you should enjoy them because there's no point staying at home for locked up for 6 months.
Well, I was born in Scotland and half of my family are all Scottish. For me, I'm not a big fan of the cold at all, I have to say. But as you say, you can get used to it, I'm sure. But Vancouver, obviously, compared to some parts of Canada, I think there's some parts of Canada which are brutal, like minus 30, right? Pretty much like Russia.
Minus 40.
Was that one of the reasons you chose Vancouver, that it didn't get that cold, or was it other reasons?
It's definitely one of the biggest reasons. We also had a friend here, like we have a friend who said, why don't you move here? Check this city out before you decide on, you know, where you want to live. Once we came here, we really liked it. I'm like, okay, cool. We like it.
So what happened is when we applied for Canada PR, we applied, I think, after Tanzania, when we were in Sudan. And we had a very difficult, because we had to collect paperwork from all these countries and all of that. So we put in a lot of effort for our PR. And when we got it, we were in Sri Lanka and we did a soft landing for 2 weeks in Toronto. So we saw Toronto, we loved it. And we were like, oh, this is the place we'll move. But then we went back, her contract got over. So we said, before we move to Canada, let's explore Sri Lanka. So we did a road trip for Sri Lanka for 4 months.
4 months.
So we left our home, dumped all our stuff at her boss's place, hired a car, put some of our stuff in the car, and we said, let's be on the road. So 4 months, length, breadth, north, east, south, we covered entire Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And we had a friend in Tanzania who used to live in Vancouver. He said, you have seen Toronto, why don't you come see Vancouver and then decide? And it made sense. We came to Vancouver and then we haven't gone back. It's been 5 years.
Well, you must like it if you've been here for 5 years. So what would you say are the biggest positives about life in Vancouver, especially for people who are not maybe originally from this city?
I would say it's peaceful. It's safe. Like we have never had any unpleasant experience. Public transit is good. The city is beautiful because it's city in nature. And it is a metro city with a soul of a small town.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So, like it has everything, but it feels like a smaller town. Like if you see our downtown, it's pretty small as compared to a Toronto or, any city in the New York.
Even Montreal, because I've just been in Montreal, as I was saying before we filmed. Montreal doesn't necessarily feel like a New York or a London, but it definitely feels more kind of bigger than
Exactly,
here, I would
exactly,
say.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest thing that works for us is it's more laid back. North America in general is like very uptight in the sense like rules you follow, like you live a certain way. And that was our kind of a concern in the back of our heads. We are more laid back, hippie-ish people.
Yeah.
So this aligns with that a lot. People are more laid back. People are more, they are more aligned with nature. So nature is so accessible.
Yeah, Vancouver is not just work. Vancouver is like people believe in work-life balance. I think a majority of people.
Yeah. And it's
Which
so
is what-
accessible. Like people who
It
live
is
here
accessible,
are ready
yeah.
to pay that extra for their rent and everything else because they have access to beaches, forests, lakes, rivers, mountains, everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just Vancouver as well, because before coming here, a lot of the people I know from this area said take the 90-minute, 2-hour drive to Whistler, which apparently is spectacular. And apparently the drive on the way there is really spectacular. So apparently people say that can be incredible. But even inside the city, there's a lot of nature actually here, isn't there? So you don't even need to go to Whistler to see nature. So I guess that's a big part of why people come, as you say, the nature. And it's not miles away necessarily.
Not at all. Like from our home, we drive 30 minutes to go snowboarding. We drive 20 minutes to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Where else can you imagine that? Maybe Portugal. I don't know. Like only a handful of cities in the world.
There are many like that.
Like we see from our home that you see the snow on top of the mountain. So you know it's snowing there. So you can just drive and enjoy the snow. And yeah, it's very accessible. Like the city has nature within the city as well, right?
Yeah,
It's
so
a
many
city
parks.
built around nature.
You just see our streets. There are so many parks which are well maintained. Communities make sure that our public spaces are green and accessible. We like this vibe. We live in East Vancouver. It has such a neighborly vibe, something that we remember from like 80s and 90s back in India.
Yeah.
That's something like it matches our vibe completely.
I also think that people in Vancouver are non-pretentious in a way. I don't know how to put that, how to explain that, but people are what they are, you know?
Yeah.
Like more into outdoors, at least. They're not into show off that I need to have the latest car or the biggest apartment or, like the branded latest clothes.
That's interesting you
They're
say
more
that.
into experiences, I think. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because in several big cities, there is that kind of vibe that you can see, especially in the city centers, like the nice, whatever, restaurants or bars, cafes, whatever people like to do. You do see a lot of that showing off in many big cities in the world these days. And I'm sure Mumbai is probably like that, just like London can be like that, certain parts of London. But it's interesting you say that it's kind of not that pretentious.
Yeah.
Which I'll check that out, I think, when I go out tonight. But I believe you, and I can believe that actually in general people who are more nature orientated tend to be a bit like that as a generalization. So
yes, we do have our outdoorsy brands, big ones, very expensive ones. But you will also see a lot of thrift stores or secondhand stores, and people are very, very open to go buy pre-loved, pre-used stuff. I think that's why he's saying pretentious.
A cousin who lives in Toronto, he came to Vancouver and he said Vancouver has a lot of older cars. Like you don't see a lot of brand new cars in Vancouver.
Yeah. And
I noticed that's
he
true.
He made us observe that because we didn't notice it. And we're like, yes, it's true. Because when you are in Toronto, you'll see like brand new cars, all latest models, shiny new things.
Yeah.
But we are a little rough on the edges.
But every place has its negatives, of course. Everywhere in the world, every city pretty much in the world. I know you don't like to focus on the negatives, which makes a lot of sense. And I agree that when you're traveling or you're an expat, it's not good to focus on the negatives. But for people coming here, what would you say are the biggest negatives? Would you say the cost of living, or would it be something else?
Cost of living for sure.
I think that the price of real estate starts to go down a little bit, but it's still high, right? Is that true?
I think when you move in, you're not even thinking of buying straight away. It's just about rent and groceries and like basic
Gas,
amenities. So everything is definitely more expensive. But again, you do your pros and cons, right? Like, so it's expensive, and then you list those down. And when we compare for us, I think anyone who moves, you should do your pros and cons.
Yeah.
And you should know your non-negotiables and your priorities.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If we were looking for an outdoorsy, adventurous lifestyle, not a career, not to save money, not to build assets, like those were not our goals. Maybe Vancouver is not the best city for that.
Yeah.
But we were looking for lifestyle, we were looking for adventure. We were not looking for connections, and people say it's a really bad city to make friends, but we have a huge community. We have good friends here. Because if everyone is saying there are not enough people to make friends, then we need to connect at least those people who are complaining. We did that through our Instagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are negatives. People are we keep hearing people are very cliquey. Which I hear a lot about West Coasters in general in North America. But we've been very lucky.
Another thing I would like to add, there are no headquarters in Vancouver. Like all the companies are either based in Toronto or Montreal. So in terms of work, also job opportunities are comparatively lesser in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I see.
Especially if you're looking for a corporate kind of a world, because all your head offices are there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
But we have, tech
like,
and media,
yeah.
a lot of Hollywood.
Hollywood-related work, yeah. Movies, films, and shoot, all of that.
Okay, they've got headquarters here, right?
And
no,
not
a lot
headquarters,
of
but a lot
films
of
are shot.
spillover comes here.
okay.
Most of
Yeah.
Hollywood is shot in Vancouver.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
A lot of it, because it's beautiful and probably cheaper, or a lot of Canadian actors move on to become big Hollywood stars.
Yeah.
So they also bring back a lot of business, I guess.
And I think it's also got to do something with taxes. The taxes are lower if you shoot in Canada or something like that.
Yeah, we are not sure about that, but
something like that, yeah.
But no, that's interesting. But you did mention about the career aspect, right? And are you two both still like working in Canada or working remotely? Because you've got your Instagram going on. I mean, what are you guys doing now then, now you're living in Canada?
So when we moved to Canada, I had decided that I don't want to work for anyone anymore. And I started my freelancing business, which grew into a company now. So we both own our own business now. We have a marketing consultancy, which we both work full time.
So what kind of things does it do? Like, is it digital marketing or shooting, like traditional marketing?
No, it's mostly digital marketing, tech
strategy.
marketing, strategy. Yeah. And most of our clients are outside Canada, barring one or two. So US clients and from Europe. Because that's what with the internet, like you can have clients from anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. And I looked for work in Canada. I also got some good opportunities. But when you move from other countries into Canada, you have to start at a little lower level. Like I was like a VP in advertising in India, but here I would go at a much junior level. So you kind of restart your life.
Yeah.
That could be a struggle for people who are career oriented. We were not. So it did not bother us much.
Yeah.
But I tried, like I said, a couple of jobs and I was like, no, it's better if we work on our own because we wanted freedom with respect to time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
well, it's one of the luxuries in life, isn't it? Time.
Yes.
Yeah. And we also tried to keep our expenses low. Like we don't have any mortgage. We don't have any responsibility right now. So that, we can focus on
we're
the thing that we like, which is travel. Yeah.
So it's interesting. You said you're in marketing, right? You've got your own agency, mainly digital marketing. What's interesting about digital marketing. I've never been an expert in the space, but I went online very early in my career before COVID. And what's interesting is it always seems to change. There are things that are constant, of course, but things are always changing. So, for example, now chat GPT and others, even Instagram and YouTube, are finally eating in a little bit, it seems, to Google's market share. Now some people are just searching via, for example, Instagram or YouTube, or they're asking ChatGPT rather than asking Google. What kind of trends do you see in marketing right now, apart from that one? I guess like there's always new trends, or do you think things kind of stay the same online, but it's just done in like a bit of a different way, if that makes sense, over time?
See,
okay, go ahead.
so I think the basics and the fundamentals don't change. The channels change, right? So your messaging will still remain the same. You will talk about the benefit that you give to the customer, but the way you say it will depend on the channel. The drastic change that I see obviously is AI. And AI is a tool. If you learn how to use it, it will definitely help. Like how I use AI in my life is I use it for discussion. Now I have someone who could be whoever I want and discuss, whatever I want to discuss with that.
Yes.
So that is something that is very interesting. And I think, AI is going to be here. It's not going to go anywhere. And now everything will, like you said, now people look for answers on AI also. Now you would want AI to pick your company. Like earlier you used to invest a lot on SEO so that Google picks you up. Now you will invest in a way that AI picks you up. So you will get into more of Reddit sort of discussions, or, you will get into communities instead of, just writing articles that AI will pick up. AI will not probably pick that up.
Is there such a thing as AI SEO, or it's not really the same thing? Because some of the AIs I've noticed, like ChatGPT, they just search the internet, right? They search Google, but there's others that work in a different way. So I wonder if like that's going to become a big thing, like, like on social media, talk about hacking the algorithm or whatever. I wonder if AI, if there's going to be something similar where people try to optimize it for AI, but maybe AI will be too smart and it'll just focus on quality.
Yeah, people are already like training AIs to do all the repetitive work. Like not even repetitive, like calendars, ideas, hooks. Like I'm looking at people, big content creators or even marketing agencies who are training AIs that you can buy and then train to your voice and your content, and then you just have to shoot and they will just create your entire content, post it, engage and everything.
Oh, really?
So that, imagine that. What I'm just thinking, what will I do when that happens? Like, what will I be doing with all the time that I have on my hand, right? Because it's a revolution. Rather than getting scared of it, because our clients, our peers are scared. Like they are talking about, oh, it's like we may lose jobs, we may lose business, and we keep saying we both definitely believe that it is still a tool. It is not at that scary stage where we feel that it will take over the world. And if it is taking over the world, we'll be the ones doing that with it, right? Yeah. Because there's still a lot of human, what do you call, like interaction that it still needs.
Absolutely.
And that training, if you train yourself to talk to the AI properly.
See, this was always when industrialization happened or when machines came in, people were out of job and they were like, machines are taking over. But you grow with it. Like it will become a part of your life. Obviously, there will be job losses and things like that. But if you know how to harness or use the tool, then it will benefit you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing is, one person using AI might already be able to put people out of business potentially if they use it really well. But that doesn't mean AI in isolation can do that, right? So I guess you could have a situation where a 10-person team could do more than a 100-person team if they're using technology.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean we're yet at that stage where a 0-person team, it's all automated, can necessarily do it, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, you've got other issues, right? In certain industries, you've got compliance issues and so on. You can't just let AI do everything necessarily, because it might kind of go offside, so to speak, and do things you don't want it to do.
Exactly.
Yes. And I think our business is more like human. It's more emotional.
Yeah.
For machines to go, like machines are still not able to do that. So if you are doing your emotional work mechanically, yes, you will be replaced. I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah.
But if you are still putting a lot of heart and you're doing stuff, you're doing the storytelling, you're doing the tough part, it'll be difficult for machines to replace you.
Yeah, I think the human touch, that emotional aspect, is becoming more important. And what's interesting is I remember listening to Mark Cuban, the judge on Shark Tank, and he says he thinks there's a chance between 2 and 5 years, in the future, basically, that because there could be so much fake content online, he thinks there's a chance that old school things like face-to-face interaction could become more important because like people are not going to trust things they see online as much as now, because I think now pretty much people are still pretty good at detecting what's AI content and what's real. But maybe in 5 years, that will become a bigger challenge, right? Unless the platforms really invest a lot into tools that like stop these like fake stuff. And who knows where it's going to go? Because maybe even in a few years, Zoom and Teams will have to say, okay, you got to verify your identity to get like a tick. So like the person speaking to you can be assured you are the person who you say you are. But right now, I think that's not a big issue. But I think in the future, who knows, all these things could change, right?
Yeah, that'll be crazy.
I think someone from Google...
I'm still waiting for the flying cars.
We thought we'd have them by now. I think in the 70s or the 50s, they thought by the 90s they would exist.
All the sci-fi movies had them in
Yeah.
the 80s and 90s. Like, where are they?
Well, I think Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal with Musk, once said we were promised flying cars and instead we got 140 characters talking about Twitter. And that's interesting about technology. Even though it has in some ways made our life easier, we're still like taking flights that are taking the same amount of time because Concorde never really, it did take off, but then it kind of just went. And so it's easy for people to overblow these things, but I do think AI will be a massive thing just like the internet. But I think within the hype, a lot of people can get carried away. It's a bit like during the late 90s, I think 90% of those tech stocks went to zero because companies were just putting .com at the end of their name and all kinds of nonsense, right? But then a small number of companies like Amazon and whatever really did change the world.
Yes.
And I suspect with AI, it might be similar, that like so many companies are going to say, oh, we're experts in AI, and they're not, and they get found out. But I still think, I don't know what you think, but the technology eventually, I think, will really change the world.
Absolutely.
But we can't know for sure, but you'd think so.
Always has and it
already
will.
doing it. It's already doing it. Like, right?
Yeah.
We do stuff sometimes on these apps and our mind is blown. Like, there goes like 4 jobs or like 20 days of work.
Exactly.
We edited an image for a seasonal campaign within like an hour. And both of us were just sitting, we were just trying it. And both of us like, this would have like, back in the day, this was a full shoot with models and location and props and whatnot.
And then post-work and things like that. And now we just did it sitting here with just a few prompts.
Yes, it is mind-blowing. It is amazing.
See, that's what like, when automobile came in the world. Technology changed the world. Aeroplanes changed the world. So much in healthcare and medicine, right? So yeah, I see it as a very positive. I don't see any negative. Yeah.
Well, everyone will be hoping so, right?
Yeah.
But speaking about the future, so we spoke about obviously potentially the future of AI, although nobody really knows. How about you two then? What is the future looking like? Obviously, no one knows for sure, but do you think you'll stay in Canada and stick with the marketing agency, or do you think you'll go to the next country?
So the way we structure our marketing consultancy is it's location independent. So we don't really have to be in Vancouver or in Canada to run it. And we are also now citizens, so we have a slightly stronger passport, Canadian passport, very strong passport, in fact. And I think we have I love Vancouver. I really love it. I do not want to leave from here. So I would probably keep Vancouver as
our base,
and then we'll probably travel long term.
We still want to see the world. I think the world is really, really big and we haven't seen enough. So our rough plan is that we want to travel around the Western Hemisphere.
Okay.
And then do more country. Like we want to see, and we want to see it at a slow pace. It's not like we do just countries. We'll maybe drive drive around South America, or we're doing
Like
a
very
cross
slowly,
country.
like we'll take a year or two to explore
Yeah.
South America. And
Yeah.
then
I think before we do
haven't-
that, we want to do a cross country road trip. We're doing that this
Or in
October.
Canada?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So
nice.
we want to see our new home for sure. We start with that, and then we'll
Yeah.
see.
So probably by the end of September,
Mhm.
we should be able to start our cross country trip
Oh, fantastic.
because the fall is
Yeah.
beautiful. So yeah, this will be a lovely fall trip. Yes.
So,
And then we haven't really seen Europe, so I would want to do
Oh, you haven't
that
seen
also.
Europe?
We haven't
Yeah.
touched
where's
it.
on the
Haven't
bucket
touched-
list then in Europe?
I wanted to do Europe right
Yeah.
away. Alsaba wants to do South America. And I like South America, so I'm okay with that idea as well. But yeah, Europe is very
We want
high
to
on
do
my list.
everything. Like we
Yeah.
want to see as many cities in the world. I'm not even saying countries. I'm saying cities.
Yeah.
As many cities in the world as possible at the slowest pace possible.
Yeah.
And
Well,
really
being Canada,
experience
it's
it.
also near the Caribbean, of course, relatively speaking.
Yes.
So that's one part of the world I haven't explored that much. I've been to Puerto Rico, but that's part of the US.
Yes.
Mhm.
But apparently the Caribbean is also beautiful.
That's
so,
beautiful, yeah.
We
yeah.
would recommend Dominican Republic.
Oh, you went to Dominican?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we drove around.
Yeah.
So it is safe.
Yeah.
Don't trust reviews.
Don't trust Google
Yeah.
or AI.
Yes, don't trust the internet because it is really safe and people are lovely. Food is also really nice. The
Yeah.
beaches are insane. The nature is so well preserved. They have their problems, but
So
Yeah, I
does
mean,
everywhere.
look
Yeah.
at these countries beyond your all-inclusives is what we would say.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like really
Yeah.
explore, like instead of staying in sandals for 10 days,
Yeah.
maybe stay in sandals for 3 and then 7 days around the country.
yeah.
Absolutely. So how can people contact you? They want to reach out maybe about your marketing services, or they just want to reach out in general. What's the best way of contacting you guys?
I would say the best way is to connect on our Instagram.
Yeah.
We are called Tanned and How.
Mhm.
And I can also leave our email address if you want.
Sure.
the
well,
description.
Look down below, guys.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. A really interesting discussion.
Thank
and hope
you.
everything goes well in the future for you guys as well.
Thank you so much for
Adam.
having
This
us.
was really, really lovely talking to you.
Likewise.
And hope to connect with you again.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully I'll be in Vancouver again. This won't be a one-off trip, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and everyone else, until next time, like, share and subscribe and have a good day.